Hi from Kidsopia. Today's read aloud is Tarzan. Take a walk on the wild side and swing through the story of Tarzan, his gorilla family, and of course, the surprise visitor to the jungle, Jane. Deep in the African jungle, a gorilla named Kala heard a baby crying. She followed the noise to a tree house and peered inside. The sound was coming from a cradle where she found a tiny baby. Kala picked him up and looked at him closely. Sabor, the leopard, had recently taken her own baby. Now she decided to care for this one. She would call him Tarzan. Time passed. Tarzan grew quickly into a happy and lively little boy. The other gorillas teased him. Tarzan didn't mind, but he wondered why he didn't belong to the gorilla family. One day, Tarzan's friend Turk dared him to get an elephant hair. Tarzan wanted to show that he was brave, so splash! He dived into the water where the elephants were drinking. The frightened elephants raced away, trampling down the gorilla's home. No one was hurt, but Tarzan got the blame. Kerchak, the leader of the gorillas, was furious. "He will never be one of us," he said to Kala. Later, Kala found Tarzan smearing mud on his face. He was trying to make himself look like an ape. "Oh, why am I so different?" Tarzan asked. Kala put Tarzan's hand on his chest and pressed his ear to her heart. "See," she said, "our heartbeats are the same." Tarzan hugged Kala. "I'll be the best ape ever," he decided. Years later, Tarzan grew tall and strong. He learned many skills from the jungle animals. But one day, the peace of the jungle was shattered. Sabor returned. The leopard attacked Kerchak and injured him. Tarzan bravely protected the gorilla by leading the leopard away into some bushes. Before long, Tarzan returned. He laid Sabor's body in front of Kerchak. Suddenly, there was a loud gunshot. Kerchak warned everyone to go deeper into the jungle. But Tarzan was curious and went to see what it was. There were 3 people walking through the jungle. One of them, a young woman, stopped to draw a baby baboon. But the baby snatched the picture and ran away. When the girl followed, the whole baboon family attacked her. Tarzan jumped down to the rescue. Once they were safe, Tarzan took the girl's hand. It was just like his. Soon, Tarzan and Jane were good friends. They had many exciting adventures together. Jane and her father, Professor Potter, had come from England to study the gorillas in the jungle. Clayton, the professor's guide, had come too. Tarzan showed Jane round nearly the whole jungle, but he never took her to the gorillas. Although Professor Potter and Jane didn't mind, Clayton was determined to find them. So he tried to make Tarzan lead him to the gorillas. Tarzan still refused, so Clayton made a plan. Next day, Tarzan came as usual to visit Jane, but he found that she was busy packing to return to England. Clayton told Tarzan, "Only one thing will keep her here, if she could see the gorillas." So hoping that Jane would stay, Tarzan led the way to the gorillas. Jane loved them. Suddenly, Kerchak returned. He was furious and Clayton got ready to fire his gun. Just in time, Tarzan held Kerchak back. Clayton, Jane, and her father escaped. Kala decided it was time to tell Tarzan about how she had once found him in the treehouse, and she took Tarzan to the place. There, Tarzan found a picture of himself with his human parents. Tarzan thought he now knew where he belonged. He decided to go to England with the Potters and live in the human world. "No matter where I go, you will always be my mother," he told Kala. "And you will always be in my heart," Kala said tenderly. The following morning, Tarzan's friends watched sadly as the Potters, Tarzan, and Clayton went to the ship. But When they climbed aboard, some rough-looking men pushed the Potters and Tarzan into the hold. Clayton sneered at Tarzan, saying, "I'm going to sell your furry friends, and I couldn't have done it without you." Tarzan let out a cry of despair. His friends rushed to save him. By then, Clayton had started to capture the gorillas. Soon, he was startled by a loud cry. Tarzan had returned to save his family. Clayton fired the gun and shot Kerchak. Then Clayton chased Tarzan into the trees. But he lost his footing and fell to the floor. He would never disturb the gorillas again. Tarzan ran to Kerchak. The gorilla leader was very weak. "Forgive me, Tarzan," he whispered. "Take care of our family, my son." The next morning, Tarzan said goodbye to Jane. She started to cry and ran to the boat. "Stay, dear," said Professor Potter. "You love him." Jane jumped into the water and ran into Tarzan's arms. Then Professor Potter decided to stay too. The gorillas cheered, and Tarzan was delighted. He had found out at last where he truly belonged.